Hi, today I'm going to show you how to create a table view with the custom cell, and I'm going to do this using Storyboard. So just open up Xcode and create a new Xcode project, and we're going to choose a single view application, and for product name I'm going to call it custom cell tutorial, and we're going to use iPhone and check to use Storyboard, and we're going to use automatic reference counting. Click next and then create your project. Okay, now in your main storyboard, in our view controller, we're going to add a table view. Okay, and then we're going to add a table view cell onto here, onto our table view. And here we're gonna create our custom cell. So in our custom cell, I'm gonna have a label. I'm gonna have a label on the left, and I'm gonna have another label on the right, and I'm gonna have an image in the middle. Image view, just have that in the middle. Okay. Alright. So here we have a left label, a right label, and a UI image view. And now we're going to create a new class for our custom cell. So to do that, we have to choose File, New, and then New File, and then we're going to choose Cocoa Touch, then Objective-C class, and then click Next, and make sure this class is a subclass of UI table view cell, and the class I'm going to call it custom cell, and it's going to be a subclass of UI table view cell, and click Next, and make sure the target for custom cell tutorial is checked, and then click Create. And that's your custom cell.h and custom cell implementation file that was created for us when we did that. And now we're going to make the necessary connections. So let's look at our identity inspector. For this is view controller, and for this right now the default is UI table view cell when we choose our prototype cell, but now we're going to change it to the class that we've just created, which is custom cell. And so when we choose the whole view, it's a view controller, but when we choose a prototype cell, you see that the custom class is a custom cell. So now we can make the necessary connection. We'll do that first for the view controller. We need to control click and drag it onto the view controller, the table view, and I'm going to call this my table view. And type will be UI table view, storage will be weak, and connection is it will be an outlet. And then just click connect. And that's all we need for our view controller header file. And now we're going to go to, let me hide the utilities area. Now we're going to make the connection for our custom cell. So go to manual, custom cell tutorial, and then choose your custom cell.h. And from there, so right now we're in our custom cell header file. Just choose your label, control click, and drag it onto here, and we'll call this left label. And the connection will be an outlet, the type will be a UI label, and storage will be weak. And I'm going to do that for the right label also. I'm going to name it right label, type will be UI label, storage will be weak, and then click connect. And for image, I'm going to control click it onto here, And our name, I'm gonna name it my image view, and type will be UI image view, and storage will be weak, and connection is outlet. And then just click connect, and from there you have your left label, your right label, and your UI image view. So that is in the custom cell header file, and in the view controller header file you have the my table view. And from there we can hide the assistant editor, and from the view controller.h we have to do this for our table views. We have to type UI table view data source and UI table view delegate. So make sure to have that in order to implement the cells, the custom cells. And then in our view controller implementation file, we are going to create a couple of arrays. We're gonna do an array for the left labels, so we can call it left array, and another array for the right label. I'm gonna call it right array. And in our view did load, I'm gonna set the delegate and data source method to be our table view. So our table view was called my table view. I think let me see what it was called. It's called my table view. Okay. And so we can say my table view. Oh, no completions. Maybe you have to synthesize it. Synthesize my table view. Okay. Now we can say my table view. Self.mytableview.data source equals self.mytableview.delegate equals self. And then from there we can initialize our left and right array. Left array equals nsArray alloc init with objects. So we're gonna give it some items. So let's say left 1, left 2, and left 3. Okay, so we give it 3 items, and right, and then the same thing for the right array. We're gonna give it 3 items, and it's array alloc init with objects, and then I'm gonna call this right 1, right 2, and right 3. Okay, and from there we can start defining our table view data source and delegate method. Okay, so now one of the methods that we need is called number of sections in table view. So if you do a minus sign and start typing number of sections in table views, and then it's gonna want to return how many sections. So for this, we're just gonna return 1, so it'll be only 1 section. And oh yeah, don't forget to import our custom cell header file. So import custom cell.h. And then next we're gonna want to do table view and then number of rows in sections. So scroll down to where it says number of rows in section, and from here I'm gonna return left array dot count. So I'm gonna return 3, which is the number of count in the left array. And the method that we also need is the self row at index path. So go to table view and then look at self row at index path. Let's see where it is. There it is. And then here we're gonna want to create a static ns string. We're gonna call this cell identifier equals cell. Oh yeah, and in our storyboard, this part is pretty important. So go to the storyboard, look open up the utilities area and look at click on the cell, click on the cell, and in the attributes inspector, cell identifier, make sure to give the identifier that you're going to be using there. So I say cell in here because I'm going to be using that identifier here, cell. So give it the same name so it knows where to go. And then here we're going to create a pointer to an instance of our custom cell. So cell equals Tableview DQ reusable cell with identifier, cell identifier, and if it's not cell, then cell equals custom cell alloc init with style, then go UI Tableview cell style default reusable identifier cell identifier again. And then from there we can modify our custom cell. So cell.leftLabel .text. Don't forget the .text part. .text equals left array object that index path .row, and then cell.rightLabel .text equals right array object that index path .row again. So what these will do is this will get the object that index path.row. So it will be object that index 0, object that index 1, and object that index 2, and that'll populate our cells. And for our image, I'm gonna use an image that I have myself. So I just go to the custom cell tutorial, do a right click, and then add file to custom cell tutorial, and I'm gonna add a iffy hat, and that's what my iffy hat picture looks like. So go to our view controller implementation file again, and cell dot my image view dot image equals UI image name, and then image name is iffyhat.jpg because that's my file name. And then at the very end return cell, and then from there that should complete our, well, that should show our custom cell onto our table view. So let's run it on our iPhone 6 simulator, run and see if it shows up or if we're missing something. So let's see if it shows up. So there it is, our left 1, right 1, left 2, right 2, left 3, right 3, and our image is here. So I guess the main things that you shouldn't forget is to set the delegate and data source to self, and this is where we set up the array, and this is pretty much the main part that you need in your self row at index path. And in our storyboard, don't forget to rename the identifier to cell, and don't forget to change in the identity inspector, don't forget to change the class to our custom cell class, and don't forget to make the connections here, because then that way it tells the header files like which component is connected to what. And then that's the end of this tutorial. Hopefully you have learned something new, and I will see you next time. Bye.